Look pretty cool though.
What's going on, everybody? Red Dawn Readiness here. Going to talk to you guys about my SHTF Rifle of Choice. I have built a few different things. I've actually built all three of these, and this was the final one of all the leftover parts that never got used. So it ended up getting used and put together to create an 11.5 inch 5.56, and this would be my weapon of choice for a few reasons. I'd have a simple light switch with no pressure pads that can't break on me. This has rechargeable batteries. Go check out Goon Beam. Goon Beam is doing awesome things. Flip up iron sights can be used in conjunction with 1/3 co-witness and also a magnifier. So if something went down, I'd probably use the back iron with the front iron, but until then, I can just use this magnifier. Your front sight does get in the way of the magnifier, so I'd keep everything down unless I needed those. Running just a regular red dot. Let's see if I can get that in there. There we go. It's a nice, crisp, really good dot. This is the Hollow Sun Ames optic. I ended up getting it from a friend, so I really didn't have the money to buy even a new one or the upgraded one that has the solar panels and the flip-up protectors for the front and rear glass. I would get that one if I did have a choice. But this one I got for a really good price, and I'm happy with it. So this would be my rifle of choice. Very simple. I think this is I forget who makes this handguard. Midwest Industries. I think it's a Midwest Industries handguard. Palmetto State Armory lower. I don't even remember which upper this was because it was the leftover one. Ballistic Advantage barrel, an AR Stoner linear compensator. I absolutely love these brakes. They're very cheap and freaking awesome. Absolutely love this type of style brake. I even like it more than, a flash hider or a compensator. I like the linear compensators. So this would be my choice. Very simple design, very simple build. I probably would take the best bolts that I have, like a nickel boron or something for it, but I've been running it with just the standard black nitrided bolt, and I haven't had any issues. A Rise Armament trigger, Radian, dual-sided safety selector, ambidextrous safety selector. This is one of my favorite mag releases on the AR-15. It's a Magpul mag release. It's extended, but it's small still. The really bigger ones, I'm not a big fan of. I don't like it too big. I think I even have the Strike Industries extended bolt release right there, which came on this lower when I got it from a buddy as well. And let's see. About 50% of this rifle I bought from friends that had extra parts that were willing to part with them. And it seems to be pretty much my favorite. Now, I think it's a good idea to have a couple different options. But if I only had one, this would be the one right here. Simple. Clearly, you can see I don't mind painting it up and having some kind of paint errors. I just wanted to break it up as much as I could with the amount of paint that I had left by the time I got to building this one. But this right here would be my main choice, something simple like that. Now, if for some reason you had some cheap night vision and you were just going to run some digital night vision, or you wanted to have the option, this would be my option that I went with. This has pretty much been my main go-to for a very long time. However, I've become such a fan of that optic setup that that's what I like, having the magnifier there. This is a 1X prism, which is probably better. You don't have to worry about batteries or anything with the prism optics, so that's an option for you. This is the SMS laser, which is probably the cheapest laser, light IR laser that you could find on the market. Have an additional IR light here. So this has, white light, IR laser, blue laser, prism optic. Essentially, it's a very similar build though. These Strike Industry hand stops are probably my favorite. If I was going to mismatch into the favorite setup that I would have, if I was only having one, I would get this thing. It mimics kind of like a vertical foregrip a little bit because of its size, but it's just not. It's just a hand stop. But I really like the design of it. And yeah, also if I had a choice, I would probably just have some type of suppressor option on there in case you come across a suppressor or you have one. Might be a good option, but if you don't, I would go with the linear compensator from AR Stoner, not even worry about it. But those, the 11.5 is by far my favorite setup. This one, I was fortunate enough to get the Geisley 2-stage on this. Absolutely phenomenal trigger. That was on a primary arms sale. Ambi safety selector, as always. This just has regular bolt release on it. So yeah, this would be one of my other options. This one has a little bit better bolt. So I would mismatch and mosh up kind of the combination of the two to get probably something that I like the best. But if I just was going to grab something off rip, it would be one of these two 11.5s, depending on what capabilities I had. I really, really wouldn't care which one either I had. They both would do pretty much the same job. Now, let's put this one back. See if we can get that girl to stay. All right, we're going to just set her down because this one's tricky to line up. Now, this right here, if you needed something with a little more range, you could go with that 16-inch. I would prefer, there's a video out there by Barrel and Hatchet who just did the scoped carbine video. It is phenomenal. Go check out their video because after watching that, I would have designed this a lot differently. I would have probably done a 14.5 pin and weld with some type of suppressor attachment. But if I don't have that, I'm cool with the 16. I have a 1-6 on here. This is the Nova, which I'm a huge fan of. In a 1-6 is the Nova. But I probably, if I had more money to go with it, would have went with like a 2-10. Even on this Aero Precision mount, I would want to get a red dot mounted to the top of this. So that way I could just leave this on 6 and then run that red dot on top of the scope. I think that that's just a really good setup to have. But yeah, overall, if you needed something with a little more distance, you could have something like this with the bipod. You could run the bipod on an 11.5 if you had to for SHTF type stuff. I'm a big fan, as you can see, of just white lights with no pressure pad. This is, I forget the name of this. Night Core. This is just a Night Core flashlight with an Odinworks mount. And as you can see, look how slim that is. I like to keep things as slim as possible, as simple as possible. I do like having some type of foregrip. It just helps if you're carrying the rifle to bring it right up. I mean, you can still hold it as if it's not there many directions, but if you need to pull it in close to you, it helps with that kind of stuff. The This is a Timber Creek upper on a Spikes tactical lower, nickel boron bolt. I have to say, these are my favorite charging handles, which are oh, got that fan running, are these right here. The Aero Precision Breach charging handles. I love those. So whichever I was running, I would be running a Aero Precision Breach charging handle. Absolute huge fan of it. But yeah, guys, these are my 3 options for 5.56, and clearly I would be choosing one of them. Most likely I would go with one of those 11.5s, but depending on the situation, you know, if we were able to leave in a car or something, maybe I'd bring 2 of them. But if I only had to pick one real simple setup, if I was just going to only have one rifle, I'd get something like this. Red dot, magnifier, backup iron sights, white light with no pressure pad. And I definitely would, if I only had one thing to run, I'd run a linear compensator like this. It's still skinny. I don't really like the big fat ones. It also breaks up a little flash by having, you know, all the little prongs in there. But yeah, these are 3 options for an SHTF rifle, and I say simple is probably the best way to go. Hollow Sun Optics, you only need to keep a few batteries in stock that'll probably last you a decade. So those type of red dots are kind of no issue. You can go with the Prism as well, so you don't even have to worry about batteries. But I have to say, running the 1X Micro Prism in the daytime, even on full illumination, it still just isn't the best option, I think. In the low light setting, it's fantastic. In bright daylight, I like the red dot better. It's just brighter. But yeah, guys, these are some thoughts for SHTF rifle. Hope you have fun out there building yours. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Hit that like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I have a lot more information for you guys. So this is Red Dawn Readiness. Over and out. We'll see you on the next one.